Hello, Best Range community. This is Dydine. We are here to wish you happy holidays. I hope you all are doing well all over the world. I'm waiting for my co-host Alex to come on and so we can start this conversation. Let me see if he's already here. Hello, everyone. Oh, here he is.
Here we go.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, Alex. Introduce yourself.
Hi. Introduce myself. I'm Alex. I'm one half of the co-hosts of the community conversations with Alex and Dydine. Yeah. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
So today's a little different.
Yeah, a little bit different. As you
can see, I'm in the backyard and he's in the house.
Yeah. We're two different locations. That's okay.
The same house. Yeah.
But we just wanted to hop on and again wish happy holidays and good energy to everybody around the world, everybody in the community, the base range community. And just have a conversation between co-hosts.
Yes.
And for those of you who aren't aware, we do still host a community conversation podcast on YouTube and various podcast hosting sites, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And so we still host those community conversations there. So if you want to go check out those conversations and you're wondering why we're not on Instagram Live as often, that is particularly why. But we're going to be here. We're going to be popping in here and there on Instagram Live just to touch base, just to have those conversations with us and, and just say hi, just hang out.
I'm going to pin this because that's what this conversation is going to be about.
Oh, that's 2024.
Delete. You want to write it and then
I'll go for it. But yeah, so we're going to talk about 6 books that we have next to us that we wanted to recommend that we've read.
Yes.
That we wanted to share with you all if you have never read them. That we think could be beneficial in reading in the year 2024 as we look ahead for what's to come.
Read in 2024. I don't know how we got 2020. I had okay, let's pin it.
Pin it.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. How is everyone doing? I see a lot of people that I know, I think from our mutual love. I see, we say hi to all of you. We hope you guys are doing, you're doing well. We know the world is not at its best right now. There's a lot of wars going on all around the world. And so 2023, I feel like it's been, since 2020, the world has been on almost like a roller coaster of events. And so we come here, like Alex, like you just mentioned, to share with you guys our favorite books. One of our favorite books is 6 of our favorite books, so that you can, when you're in 2024, the books that you can read. And a lot of these books are books for me that changed my life or my perspective on life.
Yeah.
And so we can't wait to share them with you.
Agreed. I'm so excited.
You look nice, by the way.
Thank you. There's a lot of
husband and somebody here knows that we're husband and wife.
Yeah, we are husband and wife. Yeah, those of you who do know us.
Yes.
Happy holidays to y'all.
I know.
Hope to chat soon with all of our people.
By the way, we are now. Alex is in the house, and I'm sitting outside in the backyard with our dog.
You gonna pan? It's a dog.
Yeah. Here she is.
She's distracted. Don't bother her.
I know.
She's on the
waiting for any dog to pass by so she can bark at them.
protecting.
Yeah.
Okay, so should we get into these books here?
Yes. Yes.
So 6 books here.
Yes.
Do you want to start? Do you want to?
No, you
show the
start.
first book?
You start.
I'll do that.
Men first.
Sure. Okay. So this is in no particular order, but books that, like you said, were meaningful and I think quite helpful for me in my own evolution, whatever that may mean. So the first book I wanted to share, if you can all see that. I hope it's not backwards. I don't really know how this works. It is backwards?
Backwards. Okay. But you can read it. You can.
Sure. So this book is called Your Inner Will, Finding Personal Strength in Critical Times. It's by an author. The author, his name is Piero Ferrucci.
Can you show it again?
Yes. Yeah.
That's a beautiful cover.
So I read this book. It came out in 2014. Yeah. I read this book around 2015 because I heard that he had written another book, which at the time kind of spoke more to what I was going through, what I wanted to really digest. And the first book was called The Power of Kindness, which I think is timeless as well. We should probably talk about that at some point.
Yes,
but this book, You're Finding Your Inner Will, really broke down sort of finding your strength, finding these tools within you to get through challenging moments in your life. We all have challenging moments. We will never not have challenging moments. But in this book, he provides almost like a step-by-step process or like breakdown of how he gets through these challenging moments. So he'll kind of break it down in sort of like an academic way.
Yeah.
I think, so I don't remember the author's background, but it was very helpful. I think I was in college at the time, and there's a lot of uncertainty that I was experiencing, and I needed to find this inner will to move forward in my adulthood, kind of transitioning out of childhood, embracing the unknown of what college can bring, institutions can bring, and just develop my skill set in dealing with adversity and dealing with the unknown. So I found it incredibly helpful. So again, this book came out in 2014. I'm not sure if he has any more books that he has written since in this series, but I found it incredibly helpful. So Your Inner Will, I think, can help anybody who's curious about bettering themselves in the year of 2024.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. Like that's finding your inner will and having that power. Like there are things that we can control, and also our inner self, we can control that. And knowing that, I think it's powerful. So thank you so much for sharing that book with us.
Of course.
Like you haven't shared it with me yet.
I actually don't know if I've shared it. I've shared this book. I don't think we've talked about it off camera. I don't think we've talked about it.
I've seen you reading it over and over. But I should get to it.
That's
read it.
Because I don't mean to. This book is really good as a reference book to go back and sort of like flip through the chapters. Like, so what did he say here? I feel like we have the internet for that a lot. Nowadays, but I find a lot of value in going back through books and rereading how an author sort of words certain concepts.
Same here.
It helps the lesson stick. I feel like a lot of us do that through social media. Like we'll just be scrolling through Twitter and find some piece of wisdom amongst craziness out there. So it's nice to go back to physical books too.
Absolutely. It's the best feeling to hold a book in your hands, like before you go to bed or whenever you like to read, and just touch the pages. I don't know. It feels good. It also feels it feels mature. Smart.
Sure.
It does.
Yeah.
I feel like you're I don't know, you're becoming more smart or something about learning with like holding whatever the piece of material that you have in your hands. I don't know, there's like, because for me, I think I'm a very visual person. I think you are the same as well.
You think? We're married.
Are we?
Yes.
So
I agree.
I can remember like how I felt holding that book, I think sometimes the words kind of connect with how I felt, what I was doing in the moment, things like that.
Yeah.
So I always love books.
Me too.
Yes. And so should I do the second book?
Please,
okay, so the second book is going to be a book that I shared with you before we started dating. By the way, this is my husband. So that was...
I don't know, maybe
Yep.
Oh, I see.
Yep. See? Yeah. So we're going to be receiving questions like right after. This is going to take like 15 minutes to go through the books, and then we will take one person to like have a conversation about these books quickly, and then we end the conversation because it's going to be a very short conversation. So if anyone is there or want to be part of it, I will see who requested first. That's the person I'm going to take on. But the second book is this book. This book.
Yes.
It's...
What's the name of it?
This book, you can read it, right?
No, it's backwards.
Yeah, it's the name. It's titled "Many Lives, Many Masters." Mm-hmm. This book really changed my life, or my perspective on life. And I feel like it's one of my favorite books of all time. I don't even think since I was introduced to it in 2016. And since then, I feel like I haven't really found another book that I feel like I can read 100 times and still find something new in it.
Yeah.
So it's my favorite book. Many Lives, Many Masters. And it's a therapist, a psychologist from, I think he had went to Yale, he had just started his practice, or he had done his practice for over many, many years.
Yeah.
The story behind this book, I can't read it for you. I can't tell you guys what's in it because it's based on one of his patients. And I think he named her Catherine. Mm-hmm. And it's Catherine's story. Right. And her life on her healing journey and what he experienced with Catherine. Mm-hmm. So without spoiling everything, it's a great read. Like when you read it, you feel like you just watched a movie.
Definitely. Yeah. I have to agree with that. Yes.
And every time, every chapter, you learn something. I feel like there's one of the things for me, it helped me on, I would say this book was, it helped me get rid of my fears. There are things that there are things we're scared of that are inescapable. Like they're gonna come. Like for example, in here, one of the main things about death, and how we get so scared of death that we go through our whole lives scared of it when it's not escapable. Like that's a home for everyone.
Yeah.
And so just knowing it's part of life, like if you're born, that if you have life, that time is going to come, and just embrace it. Excuse the car passing by. I hope it's not too loud. So I think it put me in this really good, peaceful place of embracing life as it is, the challenges, and also like seeking help.
Yeah.
Yes. Knowing that everything you're going through, someone somewhere has went through it. And if you seek help, you're definitely going to get it. And so this was the best book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is amazing book. Everyone, I don't know how you feel. Yeah.
Yeah. So you introduced it to me probably in 2019.
Yes.
2019 or so, or at least that's when you spoke about it for the first time. And it took me some time to read it, to get around reading it. But once I did, it was August of 2020.
Yes.
And, 2020, like you said, was a crazy time. It's been crazy since then.
Yeah.
But I really felt it's a book about spirituality, essentially.
It's essentially,
and it offers a really interesting perspective on sort of the juxtaposition of spirituality versus sort of like practical, hard evidence information, I think.
Yes,
and it emphasizes that in such a way that it just, if anything, it just allows you to be very curious about life and how we operate as people, how we relate to one another as people, and how we work through certain traumas and certain issues in our life that we find sometimes to be unexplainable. You know, there's certain things that we know about ourselves that it's just like, I don't understand why I am this way. And this book in ways that very traditional, I think, in a lot of ways. But at the very least, it doesn't mean you have to believe everything, but at the very least, it allows you to be curious, and it allows you to branch out your traditional way of thinking. And that is a gift in and of itself. So it was a transformative book for me as well. I think I agree in that it helped eliminate certain fears. It helps eliminate certain uncertainties that we deal with. And so it's a really good book, and I recommend that 100%. Top marks, that book.
I know. I'm like, I've gifted it so many people. Whenever I'm talking to someone and we're just, talking about our issues, whatever we're going through, in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, they can really benefit from this book. And the things, the wisdom in this book, somehow you can't really explain it to someone unless they have read it themselves. Like, I don't think I explained it to you in the ways that the things you got from it, I don't think I would have explained, like, gave you that in a way, like from my own words. But I remember, I remember you reading it and just coming, oh my God.
Yes.
The enjoyment.
Because like every chapter, like you said, it's like you learn new things.
Yes.
And it's like, it's one of those books that makes you like shut it and then pause for a minute and then just process everything that you had just read, and then maybe recontextualizing if you allow it to. The information that you read in this book, allowing it to recontextualize certain things that you've thought about yourself, like certain like long-standing beliefs about yourself, or how certain things that may have happened, and then that's the transformative power, is the recontextualization of certain concepts, certain themes in life. So it's a page turner, and your brain will be doing like backflips the whole time doing it.
In a good way. I know. You'd be like, why did I not think that way? Why did I not think this? This makes sense. So this is the book, Many Lives, Many Masters. You can find it anywhere on Amazon. It's an old book. This book came out in the 80s, by the way.
I know that. That was the 80s.
Before a lot of you were born.
Right. Before we were born,
you were kids. You were still babies.
We're in our 30s. We're not.
No, we're babies. We're babies. Yeah, forever 21.
Right. Yes.
Okay, so the next one, would you go for the next one? The third book?
So one book that I had come across also throughout the pandemic, I think probably 2021. This book is called Factfulness. It's by written by this statistician named Hans Rosling. I think he has since passed away since writing this book. But I think Bill Gates had probably recommended this book where I found it. And it's called, the subtext is the subtitles, 10 Reasons We're Wrong About the World and Why Things Are Better Than You Think. So in like a society where we kind of doom scroll and we have all these negative thoughts about how awful the world is and how things are just getting worse and worse and worse. There are certain things that the longer they go on, the more dire it kind of the effect it has on us as a society. There are many things that and that's completely truthful, of course, but this man gives statistics about how certain things have actually gotten better over the course of the last several decades or the last couple of centuries. And I think a couple of examples he used is homelessness, probably. I'd have to scroll through and find all the things. And world violence, like the violence throughout the world. He finds all these stats and stuff to support that it's trending upwards, in that it's not as violent. There's more food to go around in the world. More people are getting fed.
More connections.
there's more connection. There's
Yeah.
less disease, less children dying. So just tons of different statistics
that we don't think about.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And so it really kind of calms the mind once you read it. And this is more of a tangible thing where you have sort of a peace of mind being like, okay, maybe the world isn't as bad as I'm hearing from these news, from the news press or the news cycle or Twitter or whatever, news outlets.
Yeah.
Right. So I recommend this book if anybody wants to have more of a peace of mind and have some factual, tangible evidence that the world is not as bad as it may seem. Again, that doesn't mean that there's not evil in this world. It doesn't mean that there's not hardships.
Yes.
Of course there are.
It's always, but it's always to be able to recognize both sides of events. Like, how, as you're mentioning it, I'm thinking, because, a century ago, a lifespan of most countries was 47.
Yep.
A lot of people didn't live past 50. And now we have young people who are 50, young people are 60, the 7-year-old now, and you look back at a time when in your 30s, you will be looking different. You will look much older than now.
30s was
feeling much older
than
now.
30s.
So
you may have been reaching the end of your life in your in your mid 30s. You're like, all right, I only have so much time left. I better.
Yeah, but for most people now around the world, the 30s, you just started your life. You just started living. Yeah. And so there is, of course, I'm forgetting what the right word is. The climate change. There's a lot of things to work on or to maintain and take care of Mother Earth and things like that. But also recognizing how far humankind have,
how far we've come.
How far we've come. Yeah. So guys, find Factfulness and read it.
Yes,
it always helps it always helps to not always feel negative inside, because when you consume information that makes you feel horrible about everything, your spirit is going to feel horrible all the time. And so you also want that positivity in your life. And in fact, in things that have facts, to how do you accompany it? The things that you can actually tangible, like you just said.
Right. And it makes a difference for a lot of people. For a lot of people, seeing is believing. Because we hear people say that, oh, the world isn't that bad, but it's hard to believe that when all you see is the opposite, right? All you're getting from the news stations is the opposite, or just from people. And so it's nice to have tangible evidence to accompany, like you said.
Yeah, like when you just mentioned about, what the things we find in news, I feel like the things that make the news are like the worst events that are happening around the world, or like, for example, like coming from Africa, that's a whole different, like coming to the US and people looking at you like you just, came out of bushes or a forest, like you've never seen, I don't know, like a car, electricity, like, I remember somebody asking me, like, hey, so do you guys have cars in Africa? Do you guys have swimming pools? And I was just, at that time, I feel like I became petty, because I was like, I don't, like, how do you explain like this? And I was like, no,
what a silly question.
We ride on lions. We swim in ditches, like in the ditch, and to just light up the situation. Instead of like, come on, and so that's the thing, that the perspective, different perspectives really helps in changing people's minds. Helping people understand that just what you see is always not what it is.
No,
and be curious.
No.
And be curious. It's finding out more.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so. Fourth book.
Next book
is a fourth one.
Yeah.
What
book is that? What book is that?
I
Show it out. Yeah, show it off.
Well, okay, so this is one of the best books out there in the world. Okay, anyway, jokes aside, when how I was introduced to the book we introduced earlier, Many Lives, Many Masters, I was doing my internship, and on my work, someone found out about my book, Embracing Survival. This one. This is my book. It was published in 2016. And it was probably the best work that I've ever done, not just writing, but spiritually. Like, it was the most, I don't know, therapeutic thing that I've ever done, or I didn't even know that I needed. And so it was a great process. It was a tedious process, but I'm very, very proud. They came out and loved. And receiving, great feedback, like the feedback you just gave to Factfulness, the person who wrote it, it's like, putting into that work, you never know how it's going to be perceived. You just want to share your knowledge, your heart, your spirit to the world, and in the hopes that it's going to impact people, in more people. Right. And so that was my goal. And I remember at my work, this woman, now she's a wonderful friend of ours. She found out I wrote a book. She buys it. She reads it in 2 days. She comes back with Many Lives, Many Masters.
Yeah.
So she reads this, and then she comes back with this one to gift it to me. She had asked, I think, one of my bosses about my phone number, so she can, meet me. Oh. Yes, you know who that was.
You didn't know this person beforehand, did you?
Oh, no. I hadn't. Really? No. And then they were friends with my boss, and she comes back, she takes me to lunch, and then gives me Many Lives, Many Masters.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't know that story. Actually.
Yeah. And then one of the things she mentioned, she was a patient of the doctor that wrote this book. She was also one of around the same time that this doctor was seeing the Catherine, the woman in this book. They were both patients around the same time in the 80s.
Right.
But I remember, like, if I never wrote my book, I never would have had the opportunity to learn about Many Lives, Many Masters. Yeah. But so that's another book I would recommend. It's Embracing Survival.
Yeah.
It's my life story, very interesting life story, and the history of my country. I'm from Rwanda, and what my country had gone through, my friends and families, and it's a good read.
Yeah, it is a good read, particularly if I might say.
Oh yeah. Because you can talk more about it.
Well,
I'm getting here weird. I don't know how to talk about my own work.
No, it's okay. I'll do a little bit more for you. In April will be the 30th commemoration of the genocide, right?
Yeah.
And I think that not only is it a timely reminder of humanity, but it's a timely reminder, not that we necessarily need it all the time, but of the evil in the world, the potential evil in the world, and what can potentially happen if we're not careful with one another and our own emotions, and if we're not careful with how we govern, and so on and so forth. So it's incredibly powerful reading your story, your own testimony of your experiences. Not only do we get to learn about you as a person, but we get to see, and now I'm trying not to flatter you too much, but we get to see the strength of.
You can't flatter me. I'm kidding.
I think it goes to this book. We get to understand exactly what the inner will is capable of, what that means in calling upon certain strengths of ours, and to overcome an incredibly challenging, horrifying event for 100 days. And so everybody get her book. If you haven't already read it, you'll become a better person. I think you'll have far more empathy than you might have. You'll understand the world, I think, a little bit better from reading that book. So that's all I'll say about your book. I don't want to spoil it. And
Don't spoil it.
No, I won't spoil it.
Yeah. You're making me blush already. So let's go to the next book.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Book number 5. Good. Book number 5. So it is a book called Permission to Feel.
Yes.
Yes. So this one is by Marc Brackett. He this book is all about emotional intelligence, and he
I will recommend it to every young man out there. Every man.
I would too. That was actually yes, but I was also gonna highlight men. Men read this book as well.
Yeah.
I feel currently we're watching some Netflix shows over the holidays. We're kind of tone back a little bit. We can catch up on some TV. But for me, I'm seeing a lot of reality television. You get to see people sort of in heightened situations, how they react when they're in sort of critical moments, moments of high tension. And particularly men, how a lot of times we're not very well equipped to handle very high emotional, high stress situations without devolving into either this like super masculine bravado where it's hurtful for not only other people but yourselves as well. But it's just like it can be very damaging sometimes. And like you said, it's not just men, it's women and everybody else. But I can speak to men because I have been, and I'm on my own journey, of course, of strengthening my emotional intelligence, learning not only what you say, it carries weight. How you say things, cadence, and how you connect, how you listen to people, and suppressing these sort of animalistic, sort of feral desire and impulse to just snap back and say whatever comes off, it's off the top of your head. Because it can be potentially damaging. And so in this book, he'll talk about taking the steps to just like to process what is being said, the information that you're receiving, and communicating what you need, what you would like to say in the most productive and helpful way that's conducive to a healthy relationship with whomever you're speaking with. And so I know a lot of men are better than me, of course. I don't claim to be a professional, but I do take great pride in being able to communicate effectively. Intellectually and emotionally, because listen, that's life is all about communicating. How you communicate is kind of dictates the relationships that you have with people.
Absolutely.
And so, especially when interpersonal communication, whether it's between husband and wife, friends, family, coworkers, whatever,
children.
It is important. Children, especially children. It's important how you communicate your feelings and your ideas with people. So it is an incredible book to read, Permission to Feel. And so Permission to Feel is also, I didn't even get to the title, it's permission to feel how you're feeling. It's okay to feel how you're feeling. Don't bury that deep down inside so it comes back and like I said, it can come off the top of your head just reactive. Feel your feelings, understand how you feel, and learn certain tools and techniques to be able to articulate that in a manner that is helpful for everybody, yourself included. So men, again, going into 2024, this can be another year of there will be surprises this year, things that have happened that will happen globally that nobody will expect, that nobody will know how to deal with, because that's just life. Things happen all the time. And I think in order to deal with those things, seen and unforeseen, we need to make sure that our emotional intelligence is on check. We have a lot of IQ, our intellectual intelligence, but the EQ, emotional intelligence need to, and I don't know, someone correct me if I don't know what IQ stands for. I should. I'm going to say intellectual intelligence.
It is.
It is. Okay. But yes, emotional intelligence.
It's more of the brain and then the heart. So emotional intelligence connects really more with the heart.
I would argue that I think there's an argument to be made that emotional intelligence is more important than intellectual intelligence.
Well, you don't want.
It's okay to. No, you don't want
dumb.
to be like dumb,
Yeah.
but I think if your emotional intelligence is right here and your intellectual is right here, that's okay.
Yeah.
You don't want emotional
That's
to
okay.
be here and intellectual right here.
Yes.
What I'm saying is that it's incredibly important to develop.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's why I feel like this book is very important for everybody. Yeah.
Everybody, especially men.
Particularly.
So if you have children, they are teenagers, and please give them that book. They can sometimes, even with the kids, your own kids, there's some information you can't really give them and they would take it because they have, there's a history, whatever. But if a book, sometimes they have no connection with that person. They have no history with that writer. And so they're more open to take that information than if you were just talking to them. So please, if you have, young men, young son, please, I would recommend this book to
tell them to
as a
go
gift.
Spend that Christmas money that they just got on their book. They can go buy all the shoes, all the whatever they want, but also make sure they get that book too.
Yes. Actually, don't get me started on Christmas and the gifts and stuff. Anyway. Give them books, give them things that are going to change their lives in the future. All right. The last book. This is the last book.
Yeah.
The last book, it's more of like everything we just shared. Everything, all these books that we just shared. This is a very small book. Very small book. It's called Nonflict. So like the opposite of conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Nonflict. It thinks. Yes, please. So this book, it's a nonprofit called A Million Peacemakers, and the founder of this nonprofit had this. Is that revolution? Is that how you call it? How would you say it? Revelation. Yes, revelation. Of how much there is. If you can teach about peace and educate about peace, bring awareness about peace, you can change the world in a way that the way you teach people about violence, about hatred, why not take the time to actually then teach about peace, teach about oneness, teach about unity, teach about things that are going to bring humanity together. Because for example, when you and I got involved with this nonprofit, the idea of back in my country in Rwanda in 1994, having 1 million people killed in only 100 days, it's how can that happen? But it's understanding the power of the power that humans have. So if you can then teach about peace 1 million people, those people are going to be able to spread that message to billions of people. Yeah. So you can really reach souls of different people around the world the same way you will reach them, giving them wrong information. Yeah. It's just how we choose to use, our time and the resources and everything. And so this book, it talks about how peace begins within, because if you're not a peaceful person inside, you're not going to be able to give peace to the people around you. Yeah. And this is a lesson I learned from one wonderful friend, Glenn. I was like 20 something. I'd been appointed as a youth peace ambassador for a nonprofit, but I was young. I was still going through my own conflict within my environment. I wanna be able to talk about peace and experience peace, but understanding that I also have to be have conflict resolution tools within myself to be able to have peace, to have just peace within and around me. Right. And he just said, Dydine, if you can achieve peace inside your heart, then you have done the work. Because automatically, everyone around you, you're going to bring peace to them.
And it's infectious. They can feel when they're in the presence of a peaceful person.
Yes.
When you meet somebody with a lot of conflict and there's a lot of pain and confusion, that can be infectious as well. Energy travels.
Yes.
You can feel it. You pick up
absolutely. Yeah, so if you don't have peace within yourself, you find your relationships being broken, your having a good relationship with your children or your spouse, or at work, you find just like everything you're doing, there's like a war like happening and you don't understand why. And you find the people being like, I don't know why this thing doesn't work for me, or this thing that people don't like me, or things like that. But it's that inner work, like the first book you mentioned earlier. And so all these books are connected. That's why we put them in one package. Yes. It's really working on your spirit. And one of the, I'm going to read a little bit because we're going to close this with this book. One of the first introduction of the book, it says, like a paragraph, are you stressed over a conflict in your life? Will avoiding conflict make it go away? If you do try to avoid it, what if it gets worse? How do you get closer to your spouse who is angry about something you don't understand? It can be the same story with your kids. There's even there even may be never-ending conflict at work, making the job more stressful than ever. How do you confront conflict without causing pain for yourself, your workplace, or people you care about? So this book gives you, the whole book is about that, how you able to work on your inner self and figure out tactics, figure out ways, strategies of not creating more conflict when you're trying to end conflict. Yeah. Because it's a skill. It's a skill. You may not want something, but how you go about it, it's what's more important. Because things happen, but how you respond to it, that's what's more important. And to Ted here just mentioned about the world, that the world is full of conflicts. A lot of these conflicts don't, like, we hear about a war, genocide, all these big, massive conflicts that takes people's lives happening. But what we don't realize, there's a history of little many things that happened in the past years that were never met with good conflict resolution, that were ignored, that led to that thing building up and causing more pain. Mm-hmm. And so that now that we see conflict around the world, what can we do? Is it taking sides? Is it trying to just be on the side of humanity? Is it, I don't know, praying? Some people pray. Is it donations? Is it, I don't know. There is a lot as individuals we can do. And I do hope that when you feel like the world is going down, to not allow yourself to go down with it, because then you won't be able to help anyone. Yeah. Working on your inner strength so that you can be able to actually be that person that those that need you, they can lean on your shoulder, because you can stand tall and those people will be able to lean on your shoulders. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of these books are really just creating that inner strength, the ability to communicate, things that are needed, because sometimes like you said, communication is the key. Because all these conflicts is literally conversations that were never had. All these conflicts, it's just a conversation that were never had, and the people choose to fight. People choose to kill one another. But if there were a conversation with a good skilled communication, it will really help. You were going to say something.
And also, and I want to add to that as well. We have to realize the value of that conversation, mm-hmm. and what can actually come from that. Because a lot of times I feel, that we feel collectively as people that conversation only gets you so far. And of course, action needs to be taken, positive action to follow up the conversation. But we have to understand the value of that communication. And and again, it's people are complicated, and like you said, the histories that of many transgressions that build up into a massive conflict.
Yes. Yes.
Multifaceted and very old, a lot of that stuff. But
yes.
We have to remember the value and the peace,
yes.
the striving for peace, striving for nonflict.
Nonflict, yes.
And violence. We should avoid violence.
We all
should avoid killing naturally.
We all benefit when there's peace and harmony. We all benefit. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So strive for as well. I don't want to talk about. I was going to mention LeBron in here, but strive for greatness. Strive for becoming your best self.
Greatness.
And understand that our power to change things that we speak so often about. Lies within us. We all are capable of that.
Absolutely.
And we only need to turn on our lights instead of sulking in the darkness.
Yes, absolutely. So that was it. That was our 6 books that we were going to recommend. I don't know if anyone has a question. Please, you can send it in because we will be ending this conversation in a few minutes. So thank you so much, everyone. DJ, I saw you. Thank you so much for all the comments and watching. Everyone here who was able to be with us and watch our conversation and be part of it. Thank you so much to Teddy. Thank you. And I hope you give your son that book, or I will send it to you so you can give it to him. Yeah. So this is our gift, our holiday gift to you all who are watching. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
love you. Yeah. So yeah. Do you have anything to say?
Well, I feel like we covered most of it, but I want to express thanks for everybody in the base range community that has embraced us over the last several years.
Yes.
And been a part of the conversations. And I hope that you have learned something as Dydine and you and me, we have learned about ourselves and about life and about people. And our many, many, many conversations that we've had with people. So I thank you all for coming on this journey, for listening to what we have to say, and for being a part of the conversation and educating us, particularly where we need to. So we're not going anywhere. We're still here. We're still on our journeys of learning and navigating through life. So thank you so much, everybody.
Together. Thank you. Yes. And you can find us on all platforms, podcast platforms, or in YouTube, Apple, Spotify. I mean, every podcast platform you can find Community Conversations with Alex and Dydine. And then here and there, we will be coming here to just, hang out.
Just chat.
Just chat and hang out. Yeah, all right. Malika, you want to say bye? Can we have Malika say bye? I can't get her to say bye.
Oh.
Can you see her?
Yeah, we see her. We see. Oh, there. Oh, wait,
say bye.
Bye, puppy.
It's okay. Bye.
All right, everybody. Happy holidays.
Bye. Happy holidays.